Welcome back to Nifty 50 Photographers. I'm Richard Gill. I'm a professional photographer. Now, I started as a professional about 10 years ago, and in today's video I'm going to tell you 5 ways you could make money with your photography. Now, whether you want to do this as a bit of a side hustle or you're thinking of making a complete career change, you can use some of these techniques to help you gain some income. So let's start with number 1. So the first one, and it's the one I make most of my money from today, is real estate photography. Now, that can be photographing houses that are for sale or things like holiday accommodation. Now, a lot of these things are handled by third-party agencies who will have a photographer in an area that covers a big patch. First thing you've probably got to do is build a little bit of a portfolio of images. Now, one way you can do that is use the property you're living in yourself. Another approach is to see if you know somebody perhaps who has a holiday let that might be empty, or alternatively you could go along to a property development and see if a property developer will let you photograph their show home. They're great to photograph because they're usually beautifully staged and they're nice and clean and just ready to roll, so you'll get some great images. One of the things that I found that really helps with property photography, particularly if you're targeting estate agents, is to be able to do something else. So I sketch floor plans for them. Now, this is actually something very simple to learn. It's really just being able to measure a room, draw it out on a piece of paper, then you can send it to somebody else, turn into a proper floor plan. So it doesn't require a huge amount of skill, just some basics with a pencil and paper and a laser measure. Second way you can make money with your photography is product photography. Now, you want to decide what you want to specialize in a little bit here. There are a few options. You could be looking at just doing pack shots, so things that companies maybe local to you sell. So have a look at the businesses around you and see if they have some products that you could shoot. This is something very easy you could start to shoot at home. For example, I've done some for a company that does shampoos and that kind of product. I've also done it for a chocolate shop, and I've also done it for the lighting industry because I had a background in that industry before. But you could also do something like specialize in food photography. In my case, I live in Cumbria. We've actually got a lot of Michelin star restaurants here. So there's a lot of artisan food producers and other companies related to that, and pubs and so on that produce nice food and nice menus. So there's a big market there for food photography. Now, it's quite a specialist skill, but there's lots of videos on YouTube that will teach you how to do it. If you want to do it in a studio, it's a little bit different to doing it on the site, and you'll need different equipment. With pack shots, you can start doing those at home and build up a nice portfolio. Look at the trends in advertising, colors they're using, the style of shots they're using. Build up a portfolio just using products you can go and buy in your local supermarket. Then you can go and show that to the local businesses and help yourself get established and get some work for product photography. Third way you could make money, this is my other big source of income, is to do commercial photography for local businesses. So building up imagery for their website or video content for their social media channels, those kind of things. As I mentioned before, I did some work in the lighting industry before, so I've done some for that. But I also do stuff for other local businesses. Because I had an engineering scientific background, I tended to target those because I understood their products and their customers better. And that would be my advice. Look for companies where there's some synergy between your background and what they're making and selling and marketing, because that way you'll be able to bring an extra level to your photos. You'll understand what message they're trying to get across, and your photos will look better because of it. Now, the fourth way you can make money is stock photography, and I get a small amount of income from this every year. Now, I don't put a lot of effort into it. I just upload some stock photos to a library now and again when I've got a few days spare. But you can actually make a full career out of this. What I would say is, for stock photography to work well for you, you need to upload a lot of images to the libraries. So try and get something like 500 plus images up there, and then you'll start to get more and more noticed in their profile. Other thing that really helps is if you've got images with people in them that are model released. Now, if you've not come across a model release, go to any of the big stock libraries and look at the things they're looking for when they want new images, and you find they all have their own model release that you can use and download. It doesn't matter which one you use, as long as you've got one of them. They're pretty much all standard. What they're looking for is that signature from person in the photograph that they agree that you can use their image in commercial applications, and that will help you to make more money from them. If you have got shots with people in them, they can still be used by stock libraries, but they'll only get used for editorial, so you won't earn as much from them. But you can still send them up and just make a note that there is no model release to go with it. Now, model releases sometimes also apply to commercial buildings as well, so you need to watch out for that. And you usually get prompted during the upload whether the building needs a release or not, and then you'll have to go along to the owners of the building and ask them to sign the model release. I've got a few examples here of images that I've sold on a stock library recently, and you can see they don't all have to be with people in, and there can be some really quite bizarre things. This was one I just took in a food bank actually, and it's just, you know, a collection of tins on a shelf. But so stock images can be quite diverse things. The best advice is to go onto the stock libraries, and they usually have a section on there or a blog that's telling you what images they're looking for, what topics are popular at the moment, and if you shoot those things, then the chances are you'll be able to sell more of your photos. And the fifth way you could make money from your photography is to take portraits. So these can be all sorts of portraits, so it doesn't have to be people, it could be pet portraits, for example. My portrait photography tends to be commercial, so it's things like headshots for businesses and managers and teams within a business. Or it could be people in the business doing a particular task, for example. Maybe they're wanting to show a process they do and need some imagery of that. But you could do lots of other things. The obvious one is weddings. I do an occasional wedding, but weddings can be very lucrative, but it's a speciality, and you need to go and photograph a few yourself, get your style and build up a portfolio first. You could do things like mother and baby shoots, family shoots, and they all give you an extra opportunity to make a little bit more income by selling prints afterwards. So it's a nice idea to be able to have a room where you could set up all the prints you've done from a photo shoot, bring in your client and show them those. Then there's a much better chance that they'll choose to order some prints, and you can make that extra bit of revenue. There's 5 ways you can go out, make a bit of money from your photography. Maybe it'll fund that extra camera you're looking for, or maybe it'll help you change your lifestyle and change your career. Whatever it does, I hope you have fun taking your photographs, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.